Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I hope wherever you're watching this in the world, you guys are doing okay. So today, I had something else planned, but it was brought to my attention that TrueUnderDawgGaming had posted to his community page. And so I'm going to read the community post out to you guys first before I get into why I'm making this video. And what he said is, there's been several videos posted about me recently. Most of them imply or directly state that I'm paid by NetherRealm to make Mortal Kombat 1 videos and speak positively about the game. This is absolutely untrue and borderline slander. I normally just ignore aspersions like that, but it's been bumming me out lately. I can't even enjoy a game without people questioning my motivation. To all my awesome and kind viewers, always know this: I've never been paid by NetherRealm or WB Games. Every opinion stated in my videos is genuine. All of you are awesome and I appreciate you. I'm sure you already knew this, but I wanted to make certain and also vent a little bit. My opinion on games, news, etc. will never be bribed. I worked many years to become my own boss, and that's not changing. Now, I wanted to get into a bit of a response to this because obviously I know that he's speaking about me, because me and TrueUnderdawg did actually speak in one of my comment sections. It was a very brief encounter. There was no animosity or hostility. He came in to explain himself, I asked him a few questions, and then he went about his business. And like I said, I have no hate towards the guy. I don't know the guy. If I met him in real life, I'd shake his hand. It would be cordial. It's just my only issue with this, and my only issue with this take, is that I've never really gotten on board with YouTubers that put things online but then don't want to be critiqued. Now, I went through his comment section, and I think a lot of people misunderstand or maybe don't get the difference between critiquing somebody and hating them. I don't hate TrueUnderDawgGaming. Now, I can't speak for other content creators. I'm sure they don't, but I won't speak for them. I'll speak for myself. Now, I know my videos were viewed by a couple thousands of people, so I know a lot of his active base would have seen them. And to those people, I genuinely have no beef with this man. It's just that I like to commentate on things. I like to give my opinions, and I didn't like some of the things that were in the videos. Now, that's not a character assessment of the man. I don't know who he is. I don't even know what his real name is. It's merely just a critique. Critiquing somebody is not hate. A lot of people critique my videos. I've seen comments of people calling me a grifter, of people saying that I'm fake 2.0, of people saying that I'm just here to make a quick buck, of people making comments about my appearance or making comments about the way I sound. And it's fine. Like, I may not agree with their assessments of me, but they're allowed to make those comments. They're allowed to make those critiques. Now, some of the critiques that have been made about me are a little bit more personal than that, but most of them are just critiques of my content. Some people don't agree with my takes. But the point of putting yourself online and having these videos go up online and having these conversations is to allow people to criticize you. Now, I went back to watch the videos that I made of you to make sure that I wasn't slandering you, because I thought maybe I did say something that was out of turn. When it comes to slander, he may be talking about other YouTubers. I'm not entirely sure, but I know for certain that I did not slander this man. I simply gave a critique of his product. The way he puts his videos across, I can definitely understand why some people may suspect that he's on payroll. Now, I never said that he's on payroll, because I would never pretend to know what's going on behind closed doors. I said the perception, and I also said this to him when we spoke. I said the perception of you comes across like someone is putting you up to this. But if you're saying you're not, then fair enough. It's just I was assessing the videos. And I think people need to understand, and I said this to another YouTuber not too long ago, and I'll say the same thing to TrueUnderDawgGaming, and the same thing applies to me, and it also applies to every single one of you that comment on videos. If you open your mouth online, if you leave a comment, if you make a video, you have to be aware that somebody may criticize you. I was well aware that when I decided to pivot my content into making comments on games and making comments about personalities within the gaming space, that I was going to have detractors. It's going to happen. People will say things about you that are nasty, and sometimes they'll make criticisms of your content that are very valid. I've had criticisms of my content where I've read it and I've been like, do you know what, I got that wrong, this person was correct. And I will validate them in the comment section, say, do you know what, you got that right. I made a comment about the main man and Arslan Ash and the tech and skill level, and I got that information wrong, and a couple people called me out, and I said, you know what, fair enough, I got that information wrong. It's not hateful to point the finger at somebody when they're saying something that sounds disingenuous, and although we had the conversation, I said to you, fair enough. If I'm speaking openly and honestly to you, your videos do come across disingenuous. That doesn't mean I'm 100% correct. I'm merely giving my critique on it, and I think it's okay for people to do that. I just do it in video format. A lot of people will leave comments on your videos saying that you're a shill and this, that, and the other. I merely did it in video format. Now, I don't believe I used the word shill, but I did give a critique. There was nothing hostile towards it. As I said, I do not dislike you as a person. I don't know you. Now, in my videos, I made sure to go back and watch them and make sure that I wasn't saying anything out of turn. I critiqued your understanding of Tekken. You made comments about frame data, and you made comments about how the games play and how they're presented to the public, and I critiqued that. And I believe that my critiques were correct. I also critiqued the fact that you kind of misconstrued numbers with MK. I didn't make out like you were doing a malicious thing. I even said in the comment to you that you seem to have missed out this information. Can you explain to me why? And this is in line with what we did with Fate, who is another content creator who I've made comments about. Fate had a run-in with Foxy Grandpa regarding the up block. Now Fate was completely wrong on that, and Fate was wrong about some other mechanics. Now him being wrong about the mechanics of the game does not make him a bad person. It's also not hate to point it out. It's not hate to point out when something is hypocritical. Being hypocritical does not mean you're a bad person either. It's also not character assassination or slander. It's merely pointing out that you got something wrong, and so here's the information to prove you otherwise. Much like I did with Fate, although this was Fate's request, I didn't actually want to do this, but I honored it because he asked for it, is I wouldn't mind speaking to somebody like TrueUnderdawg in private, like I did with Fate, and as much as I don't like Fate, I really do not like the guy, I would never dishonor him by revealing the contents of that private conversation. We had a 3-hour private conversation. We said things to each other on Discord. That's between me and him. If there was ever any reveal of our conversation, it would literally be we're setting up times. Like I said to you guys before, I showed you guys where we were setting up times to talk. It was all peaceful. Other things have been said since then. We had our conversation, and in TrueUnderdawg's case, I'm not saying that he has to talk to me. He doesn't have to talk to me. Who am I to him, you know? It's just I'm extending an olive branch if he feels a certain type of way. In my opinion, this sort of thing should be done in public, because obviously the reason that I was scrutinizing your content is A, because it's very clickbaity, and B, because it didn't really make sense to me why you were making it. Now, you explained to me that you were doing it just to bring some positivity to Mortal Kombat, and fair enough. But there are things that I've already covered that we don't need to go over again here that made me raise my eyebrow. Now, if you wanted to talk in public or in private regarding this, I am more than happy to do that. And if you don't want to, I will take no offense to it. You don't owe me your time, and to be honest with you, like, I'm insignificant to you. I'm just making a critique of your content. You should allow people to do and critique them back without thinking that it's slander. I also think it's good to have these conversations in public because you can hold each other accountable. I do not think that I sit on a throne of roses. I think that sometimes I say stuff, and when I go back and listen to it, even after I've edited it and maybe I've said something really wild, I'm like, oh, I shouldn't say dumb shit like that. Sometimes I'll put a video out and I'm like, that wasn't a very well informed take, or that was kind of a silly thing to say, and people hold me accountable for it, and that is completely fine. I don't think that you should take offense to the fact that you misconstrued some numbers and you put out some videos where you didn't go over the information correctly and you got critiqued. I also think it's good to listen to feedback and not take it as a personal attack. Now, I actually do believe him when he says that he just wants to make videos being positive about Mortal Kombat. I believe that is possible because I don't know about you guys, but back in the day, for me, I used to be in the schoolyard with me and my friends, and we had the PlayStation guys and we had the Xbox guys, and obviously we're not on payroll, you know, we're kids in secondary school, and we're there riding every single day for PlayStation, and they're riding for Xbox, and this was literally my lunchtime for like a year, where we would go over why PlayStation was better than Xbox, and a new game would come out like God of War, and I'd say, see, we're better than you, and then a new Master Chief game or Halo would come out, and they'll be like, oh, see, we're better than you, and it was back and forth, and we were very passionate about it as children. And so I can understand somebody just wanting to ride through a game simply for the fact that they love the franchise. To me, it's a little bit more odd as you become an adult to do those things, but it's not outside of the realms of possibility for people to do that. I think I've done it with One Piece before, if I'm being completely honest. When people say things about One Piece, sometimes in my head I'm like, yeah, they're making sense, but also don't talk shit about One Piece. Like, I've done it as well, so it's possible for him to do that. It is also possible, and TrueUnderdawg, you do have to understand this, it is also possible to be getting paid by the company to make the game look better. Now, again, I'm not accusing you of this, I'm just simply saying to you, like I said to you in the comment section, the perception comes across like that. I think the biggest point of contention that people have with your content right now, at least I can see, which is across the board, is it's very clickbaity, and I think you know that as well. I think you create thumbnails and you create titles that will make people click. I don't know why you do that, because as YouTube creators, we understand how retention works, and the minute I know I've been baited into a video, I'll click off of it. So I think that's one of the point of contentions that people have with you and with your content right now. But I'm not telling you what to do with your content. The same way I never told Fate what to do with his content, the same way I've not told anybody what to do. I'm merely offering a critique and an analysis of what I think you were putting across. I didn't want to make this a long video. It's just more to respond to this. Like I said, I am more than happy happy to speak to anybody. I would never outwardly be disrespectful to somebody just because I don't like what they're putting out on the internet or I have problems with their content. As I said, it's not an assessment of the man himself. It is merely a critique of True Underdog and what he's saying about Tekken and Mortal Kombat. And like I said, it's not like we're fighting nuclear war here. It's fighting games. Within the realms of YouTube and within the realms of the gaming space, we can have the debates and we can talk and have a back and forth. But to me, it's not serious. You know, I'm not going back to my bed and losing sleep over it. And it's not meant to be making you feel a certain type of way. It does say in here that it's made you feel a little bit bad, or I think you used the word bumming out. And if it did make you feel a bit bummed out because you're genuinely trying to do something positive, then I apologize for that. But at the same time, when I went back and watched my video, there was nothing in there that was disparaging towards you as a human being. So that's really all I wanted to say. You should be allowed to critique people. I've been critiqued before. I've been critiqued by other YouTubers, people in my comment section, people in other people's comment sections. When I did the podcast with Tom Brady, I went over to his channel, you know, I commented. I did see some comments in there from some people that I've seen comment on my videos before saying, oh, Mike's a grifter, this, that, and the other. And people are allowed to say those things. I don't get personally upset about it because at the end of the day, people will say all sorts of things about you. Any one of you that is watching this video can become a content creator today and start putting your voice out there and people start listening, and you need to understand that not everyone's going to like you, and it is what it is. Now that doesn't mean you can't make response videos to them, because response videos are always funny, but I wouldn't take it too personally. I've had videos made about me before. I normally laugh and joke with the boys about them, you know, and then we get on with the day. It's not a big deal. So that's all I really wanted to say on that. If you do want to have a public conversation on live stream about it, I'm more than happy to. If you want to have a private conversation, I'm more than happy to. I would never reveal the contents of that conversation. I wouldn't do that to somebody even if I dislike them. As I said with Fate, I really dislike the guy, but I would never do that to him. And if you don't want to, as I said, you don't owe me your time. But I wish you well, and I hope everybody else is doing okay. So that's all I gotta say.